Hey guys, Dave, your Jiu-Jitsu uncle here, and welcome to our first viewer submission. Here we have Shireen, the girl on top, asking a very specific issue that she's facing, wherein whenever she's passing guard, she always ends up returning to somebody's close guard or in between their legs, and we will try to attempt to help her solve this problem. So let's take a look at the first possibility. One, if the person is seated like this, you can actually put a lot of weight on your gi pants and just stuff the feet onto the ground as long as possible. Essentially just long enough for you to plant those feet onto the ground for you to move around his legs while he's still seated. But let's say you fail in that, like in this situation where the person falls to the side and goes supine voluntarily. Again, because of the size difference, it will be a little hard to move forward. But you also have the option right now to take advantage of those long frames. You can see those frames are really going to make it hard for you to pass through forward. Even if you try to do knee cuts and just trying to access the head will be a bit difficult. And now you end up in somebody's close guard. Now let's see what options she can do when the person goes supine. So that big gap is really her chance to go for some sort of a duck underpass to go through those legs to attack the back rather than trying to go forward. First of all, make sure your hands are inside so that you don't get triangled and you move essentially that far leg through the calf. So you're essentially like shin cutting through that leg and then you end up with, so again, something she can try here is use her left leg to shin cut over the bottom leg of the guard passer, scoop the leg, and attack the back. So obviously in the video that didn't happen. So what happens now is she ended up back in the center. She didn't really exactly get close guard, but she ended up in this sort of like a split squat half guard situation. The easiest thing for her to do is actually just sit down and play half guard from here. By sitting down on the upper leg, she pretty much guarantees she's not going to get pulled back into close guard and she can start playing a half guard game. As you can see, because she stood back up, what ended up happening is she's back to that split squat position and now she has to deal with all those long legs. But all is not lost. One awareness that she can develop is to notice whether the top leg is already smashed, meaning it's horizontal across her torso. In this case, she really doesn't have to deal with beating that frame, but instead she can just keep smashing it down to the floor instead of trying to run around, and you can see that the foot gets stuck on her hip again, ending up in the close guard, or she has to go back to passing in the front where again she has to deal with all those long frames. Another option is just to go straight to north-south. Again, as we're trying to avoid dealing with the frames, if she just like maintain those grips and walk straight past to the back and attacking the back instead of trying to consolidate in the front, that will make things a little easier. Now let's take a look at another video that she sent. This is a little easier to analyze actually because it's more of a tendency and awareness type of thing. Now, as we keep on going, take a look at if you see any repeated situations that's going on that's causing her to end up in somebody's close guard after her attempts. And based on what I see, I think two things is very evident that I think can help Shireen out pretty quickly. One is notice that during this moment, when the person's seated and she's trying to pass the guard, both scenarios, both videos, she keeps on walking towards the center line of the opponent rather than going outside to flank. Once this lead shin is on her center line, she actually has a chance to move outside to just flank around that guard. Same thing in this scenario. She can just move towards her left rather than use that elbow to smash that guard and pass to the backside rather than trying to force instead of a front side pin. So Shireen, I hope that was helpful for you. I wanted to focus more on conceptually and what is available from that situation and your specific question of not returning to somebody's center line or close guard. And I don't want to cover techniques in that regard because at the end of the day, it really depends on the partner you're rolling with. And in both scenarios, you were the smaller person from a size perspective, and both opportunities are actually beneficial in your situation wherein you're attacking the back rather than trying to consolidate through the front. I hope that was helpful, and until next time, Dave, Jiu-Jitsu Uncle here. I'll see you again next time. Ciao.